Week number 3, starting off on Thursday, we have on the docket, we have San Francisco at Seahawks. San Francisco favored by 3.5. 47.5 is the over and under. Ron, who'd you go with?
I went with Seattle. I think Seattle is a good team. I know, there's, San Francisco's like really good. Their defense is great. I just have a feeling they're going to rebound from last week. They're embarrassed, with losing to the Giants. And they're going to find a way to win this one.
Well, the Seahawks lost to the Giants. The 49ers lost to Arizona. I was giving Brock Purdy his flowers, and then out of the sudden, he just had a bad game. Now, no McCaffrey, no Debo, right?
I don't know about Debo.
I think Kittles was there, but then they're just missing a lot of people. It was going to be my upset special. Then I changed my mind, but I went with Seattle. I think Seattle at home will take care of business. I'm a big Mike McDonald fan. I think he's gonna fix whatever's broken right now. We have another London game. This is a 9:30 start.
Ridiculous.
Hopefully, we have electricity by then. This is the Jaguars. Bears at home, but it's not really at home. Bears are favored by 2.5. It's 45.5 is the over and under. Ron, who'd you pick?
Yeah, again, I don't like any of these London games. It's you don't know what you're going to get, but I'm going with Chicago. I think they'll not bounce back, but I think they'll build on what they had last week. I know it was Carolina that they beat. Nothing to be that excited about, but I had Chicago in the playoffs. I'm sticking with that. I think last week is the start of like getting them into the playoffs. So I'm going with Chicago.
Yeah, I was going to go with Jacksonville, but they have to show me more. I know they just won last week, but and this is technically a home game for them because I feel like they always have a London game. So they should give Chicago a little bit of competition, but Chicago's going to win it. The next game is Arizona at Green Bay. Green Bay is favored by 5. The over-under is 49.5. Ron, who'd you pick?
I picked Green Bay, but listen, I'll be a little surprised if they win by 5. Arizona can score for sure, so give me Green Bay. I'm not like, it wouldn't shock me if Arizona went in there and win, but I'm going to go with Green Bay.
Yeah, I also picked Green Bay. 5 it seems like a lot. I wouldn't take that spread, but I mean Green Bay, they won last game, but it was against the Rams, and they should score more points against Arizona. So I'm gonna go with Green Bay. The next game, Colts at Titans. Colts are favored by 1. 42.5 is the over and under. Who'd you go with?
Yeah, I'm going with Tennessee. I still don't trust the Colts. I know they put up like 34 points last week, but it was against the Jags, so taking that with a grain of salt. Give me Tennessee to win this one. I don't care who the quarterback is. They'll find a way to win.
I don't care if Bill Callahan has his dad on the team, his mom on the team, has cousins, I don't know. I just don't like this Titans team the way it's built. Even with, Mason Rudolph at the QB. Although, Indy seems like they're getting it together with Flacco. I don't know. Is Richardson coming back for this game?
Yeah, Richardson should be back. Did he play last week at all, or was that Flacco?
No, I don't think he played last week. I think it was all Flacco. So I don't know if they scored that many points with Flacco. I don't know if Richardson is ready, but it's the coach's decision, right? The next game, Tampa Bay at New Orleans. We just talked about Carr not being there. Tampa Bay is favored by 2.5, which I found kind of low, knowing that Cars might not be there for sure. 42.5 is the over and under. Ron, would you go with?
Yeah, I'm going with Tampa. It is a divisional game, which can be concerning, but give me Tampa. I just don't want them to have a letdown here, but I think they should pull it off.
I mean, they lost against Atlanta, and it was obvious that the offense, it wasn't the offense the reason they lost. It was bad tackling by the Tampa Bay. I think at one time, Robinson just ran over a linebacker, and I was just like, wow, they're going to replay that in the locker room for sure. I went with Tampa. I think they're going to fix up that defense. Todd Bowles should fix it up. Next game, Browns at Eagles. Eagles are favored by 9.
That's
the
crazy.
Is 43.5. Ron, who'd you pick?
I got Philly, and on top of that, I have Watson being benched, like for the rest of the season after this game, or it might be in the game.
I mean, Philadelphia is coming off a bye. They're rested. Nick Sirianni, if he loses this game, he's probably the next one to be fired. Because this team is loaded.
Yeah, well.
I mean, this team is loaded and that window is closing. That window is closing fast. I know they got a bunch of Georgia players on the defense, but I don't know about that window. Anyways, I picked Philly to win, but if Cleveland if the Browns go downhill again, and Watson has a subpar performance.
He's out. He's got to be. Like, even the national media is saying, hey, he needs to be benched.
I don't know what's the GM and coach doing?
They gambled and they missed. I don't know what else to say.
The other game, the Chargers at Broncos. Chargers are favored by 3. The over and under is 35.5. Ron, who'd you pick?
I went, and you missed one game above that, but we'll do this one first. Okay, gotcha. I'm going to go with Denver. I think Bo Nix and what's the coach there?
Payne?
Yeah. They're figuring it out together. And I have a feeling they're going to pull this one off. They're at home. That's an advantage, especially for teams traveling and having to play that altitude. Their offense seems to be coming around. Their run game too, especially. So, give me Denver.
I like the Chargers here. Again, they're coming off a bye week. Herbert should be better, at least healed somehow, some way. A little bit. I think Dobbins should be better. I just like the fact this is going to be a low scoring game. So that 35.5 sounds about right because Chargers defense, that's how Harbaugh likes to play, and Denver defense is good. So this is going to be a defensive battle, but I like the Chargers on this one. The next game, Lions at Cowboys. Lions are favored by 3.5. 52.5 is the over and under. Ron, would you pick?
I got Detroit winning this one. I do think Dak has played well most of the seasons, but Dallas still has flaws. No running game whatsoever. All rests on Dak's shoulders. I think Detroit's going to win this one.
I also got Detroit winning this game. Listen, Dak is playing like MVP caliber right now, but he has no running game, and I don't really trust anybody named Rico. I just don't, unless he's like singing or something. I don't know, but Rico, you're gonna trust your running back to be Rico? So yeah, I went with Detroit and 52.5. Yes, that sounds about right. I would take the over. Excuse me. The next game, Falcons at Panthers. Atlanta is favored by 6 points. 46.5 is the over and under. Ron, who'd you go with?
Atlanta, give me Atlanta. I know it's a divisional game as well, but Atlanta is going to they should easily win this one.
Yeah, Atlanta should. I mean, this is pick on Carolina Panthers, right? If you are second or first or third in a division, you're gonna circle this game as a victory. At least I think you should. Bengals at the Gman.
Yeah, that one's my upset special.
Sunday night. Oh, so okay, so we'll skip it. Monday night, the Bills at the Jets. The Bills are favored by 2.5. I think it should be more, especially after today's news, but 41.5 is the over and under. Ron, who'd you go with?
I'm going with Buffalo. Yeah, I think the Jets are just a disaster. I don't trust them at all. So give me Buffalo to win this one. And in embarrassing form, too.
Buffalo has lost 2 games in a row. And they are playing goal. Josh Allen had a concussion on Sunday.
Yeah, he got that. That needs to be like front page news, by the way.
And nobody said a thing about it.
Yeah,
there was like I don't. Maybe the announcers did, but when I saw that replay, I was like, he didn't go in the blue tent.
He did, and he was right back out when they got the ball, like right back within like a couple minutes because they had a chance to win.
I don't know if he's okay.
There's no way you can get your head hit that hard, right, and go right back in the game. No way.
I mean, I like Buffalo to win this game, and I was thinking about the Jets before all this stuff happened because I was like, there's no way that Josh Allen is okay for this game. But since all that happened today, I'm going to pick Buffalo, but I don't like what I saw from Josh Allen when he hit the deck.
Yeah.
So let's talk about our teams, Ron. Houston at New England. Houston is favored by 7 points. 37.5 is the over and under. This is going to be Drake May's final appearance. Not final appearance, but actually debut. I predicted a 10-21 victory by Houston. What say you, Ron?
Listen, I got Houston winning this one, but I think it's going to be a close game. I got them winning 24-20. I think Drake May is going to surprise people a little bit.
So you predict that Drake May has a touchdown here? Because 20 can be all defense.
No. Points. I think they're going to score an offensive touchdown for sure. And it might be Drake May using his legs. It might be, using the receivers because for whatever reason, Brissett was allergic to throwing to the receivers. I think he's going to have a decent game, and Houston hasn't really like taken off on any of these teams, right? It seems like every game has been close for the most part. So
I think that they're missing Mixon, and not having a running game kind of affected them, but they still are a good team.
Yeah, this game is in New England. The fans are going to be excited. We talked about that, right? So it's going to be loud. I don't know what the weather looks like, but listen, I'm not going to say this is going to be an upset, right? It is a 7-point spread. It is his first game. I just think he's going to have a decent debut.
I think he's going to have a couple of highlights, but they're not winning this game. I think I give him a 10 points because I think Stevenson does score. I don't know if Drake May scores.
I think Polk is going to, or one of these receivers, Douglas, they're going to find the way in the end zone. I think he's going to make a play or two.
Because I don't know what the offense is going to look like with Drake May. I don't know. Do they unleash him and let him throw deep, or is it going to be the tight ends all over again? I don't know what Van Pelt is going to do, so I'm going to be cautiously optimistic about this game. The next game, Pittsburgh at Vegas. Vegas Raiders. The spread is 3 points for Pittsburgh, -3. 36.5 is the over and under. I say 17-10. Pittsburgh. What say you, Ron?
Listen, Vegas is going to be a home game for Pittsburgh, right? There's going to be a lot of Pittsburgh fans out there. Having said that, there's like way too many injuries, especially on defense for Pittsburgh. Way too many question marks about our offense. I see an upset here, and the Steelers losing 26-17 is the score I wrote down. I think this could be the pivot point where.
So Wilson is not coming in?
Wilson is going to take over the following week. I think if Fields doesn't have not only wins, but has a good game doing it, they're going to go to Wilson the following week.
So you think Wilson is ready right now?
He's physically ready. So Tomlin had his press conference today, actually, said they're anticipating him being a full participant all week. But they want to see how tomorrow's practice goes. Once he's a full participant, the question is going to be, is there soreness or any lingering issues after he practices? And if there's not, then they most likely will make him, instead of like making him the emergency, QB3, they'll activate him and make him the second quarterback. So I think he's about ready. It's just about getting some practice time. And again, if Fields doesn't perform this week, which I don't think he will, not all his fault. I just think, between, Pickens and all the drama that we had this week with him and just not having a lot of weapons, not being able to run the ball, I think they're going to make the switch next week. That's just my prediction.
Yeah, I mean, I wish they already made the decision with Fields, because I feel like unless you're consistently scoring, not just the second half, but both halves, like a touchdown, this team is going to be hindered by it.
Yeah, so let me say something. The other thing I'll say about Fields, and I think he's played okay, but if I was to compare him to last year and Kenny Pickett and the team last year, right? 3-2 last year, at this point, 3-2 this year. Kenny Pickett put up similar numbers to Fields. The offense is scoring about like half a point more than we did last season with Kenny Pickett. Nothing has changed, in other words. And my point is, part of it, I think I personally think Pickett and Fields aren't that far apart in terms of talent. And then part of it is that's just the system Tomlin wants to run, and it's holding them back a little bit. But if I was to compare this team to last year, I don't see a big difference whatsoever, and that's a problem, and they need a spark.
Offensively, you don't see a big difference.
No, not at all. That's a huge problem. He brought in a new coordinator, and I don't think it's him at all. I think he's done a great job. You got two new quarterbacks. At some point, someone needs to point the finger to Tomlin, right? But it probably won't happen. But they'll look for a spark. They'll make a change. And we'll see how Wilson does, I think, next week.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. Who's your upset special? You kind of bleed into it.
Yeah. So Cincinnati at Giants. This is in New York. I do like how the Giants offense is playing. They get their receiver Neighbors back this week, so he's going to be cleared for concussion, and he'll be active. They'll put up points because Cincinnati can't play defense to save their life. I think they pull off an upset here, 30-27, and it might even be a higher scoring game than what I have there.
Yeah, the Cincinnati defense is up there bad. It's just bad. My upset special: Washington at Baltimore. Ooh. 31-28. I'm leading the flag in the hype train for Jaden Daniels. I know we're going to talk about the offensive rookie of the year, but even if they lose this game, but they lose it with points scored by Daniels, then you have to be talking about like, hey, this guy is actually has it all figured out. Because I'm trying to compare him to like what CJ Stroud was doing last year. I don't know. CJ Stroud had a lot of help. He had a good defense. He had a good running back.
But he did some amazing things too.
He did some amazing things, but I feel like Daniel's doing it by himself. I'm just really, really impressed. I just hope that this dude doesn't get hurt.
It's 1 o'clock game. That should be a primetime game.
That should be a primetime game, yep. You're going to have a lot of viewers from Baltimore. It's a home game. Yeah, so I pick Washington to win it because, 4-1, I think they're leading the division, right? So I am on the hype train for Daniels.